Well, I think what they're trying to do is showing the sword, but not actually using it. In other words, they're trying to get the market to move by their verbal intervention, as you just noted. Having a meeting itself and making a statement, they understand has some effect, as you saw in the market today. The fact of the matter is that Bank of Japan, in comparison to other central banks, do not have the deep pockets as many people believe, because their current account is already reaching almost 600 trillion yen. And considering that, although, as you just reported, we are seeing some of a comeback in Japanese economy in many phases, for example, like in private consumption, as well as, pent-up demand that is pushing a lot of capital expenditures. That said, there still is a lot of weakness, as you can see, in the fact that, our inflation fear is much more mitigated than that in the UK or US. So basically, it's very difficult politically, for Bank of Japan to start raising rates like, other countries. But as you know, the external environment may not permit them to do that. So, they're really, in my opinion, running out of hands that they can play with. So that's one of the reasons why I think they're making, acute meetings and trying to give some effect through verbal intervention to the market.
Well, is there a chance here that they may, as you say, only have to show the sword but not take action because money is finding its way back into the Japanese stock market, and just about everybody in fixed income land believes that the BOJ is going to have to take action on the currency curve control measures that have been in place so far. So is there a trailing wind now between yen-based assets, and should our audience be buying?
Well, I think there's a lot of potential for various Japanese equities, for example. As you reported earlier, I think many of the Japanese equities have been just left behind and totally ignored, especially considering the beneficiary, or at least momentarily beneficiary, of this war between hegemony between China and the United States. As you just reported, semiconductor, for example, is a very good example where Japanese would continue to benefit because of this, war of hegemony. And, many people have not really realized on the potential and the benefit that Japan would get from this, geopolitical mess, at least in the short to mid run. In the long run, I think it's very, very negative as a whole. But, that is another, factor that I think many people are using Japan as almost like a safe haven. And that's totally understandable. But, going back to your first, question about, the policies, I think there is a very much of a limitation on what Bank of Japan can do. But that said, they will, definitely intervene, I think, if there is an acceleration, because weakening the yen may benefit, and they do benefit Japanese exporters. But let's not forget the vulnerability of the Japanese economy to external prices, particularly in means of commodity. And if we are associated with, combined with, weakening the yen along with, rising, material prices, that is going to hurt our economy as a whole. Although, our inflation fear is much less than that of, other nations, we will be hit quite negatively on that. I think that's another worry that they have on their mind.